No.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Zero Interest. This time, we're looking at the final episode of Mob Psycho 100, episode 12, Mob and Reagan. A giant Tsuchinoko appears.
I mean, is that the actual title for the episode? I know that was the title for the skit at the end of the
No,
episode.
that's the full title.
All right. So, it turns out Reagan got cut at the end of the episode previously.
Mhm.
And it turns out Mob was like, oh. So he said, I should just. It's okay to run away, and it's okay to,
Not fight.
yeah, not fight and let the
So
adults
then,
handle things. And he's like, all right. He does explode, with the emotion being, leave it to Reagan.
gratitude was the emotion, but yeah,
Hmm.
leave it to Reagan. And
So-
Reagan stands up.
So Reagan stands up and he's like, "Oh, I thought I got cut there. I guess that is just a plastic toy. Wow, you're kind of lame. Holy shit."
Swinging that around like some kid.
Hmm.
And he's like, oh, and he swings it at Reagan's like, ow, stop that.
Oh. Grabs a sword and snaps it. Stop fucking
Just
playing
breaks
with.
it over his knee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man your age shouldn't be playing with these toys.
Yeah, and then it was the Pokemon Trainer Red.
Can teach
comes up and-
Chad.
Yeah, fucking do shit, and he's like, "Wait, is that a plush?"
It's like, is that an evil spirit? It hits him. It's like, oh, that was really soft. A plushie? Oh.
Yeah. Um.
And he's like, punches it, and the spirit explodes. And he sees the guy. He's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to destroy your mascot costume.
Then Clone Dude shows up and he just sort of swats them all away, and then he's like, goes up to Psycho Mantis, and Psycho Mantis does the gravity ball things again. He's like, soap bubbles? Yeah.
My body's in great shape today.
Yeah.
And everybody's just like, oh, Reagan must be the real deal.
Hmm.
So it turns out, hearing that it was kind of okay to run away helped Mob immensely, because the responsibility of I have power, so I have to fight was crushing him. So just being able to hear that was enough to give him the gratitude to toss all of his power temporarily over to Reagan. Now it's Reagan 1000%.
Yeah.
Which
So,
I'm assuming is like more than just Mob's 100%, but also the question mark, question mark, question mark percent thrown in. Just everything.
Mm.
And that's how you get 1,000.
so at this point, Reagan starts giving a lecture to the villains of like, come on, what are you even doing? You're You've kind of divorced yourselves from reality. What are you wearing? Fucking, what's that dot on your forehead, moron? He's like,
It's none of your business.
what
What
are,
about
those,
this-
what are those shoulder guards for? Like, to protect my shoulder. So they're for nothing. They're for nothing? Yeah, I thought so much. So,
And also the other guy who's just like, you don't understand my problems. My parents abandoned me, and I was bullied as a child in my orphanage. He's like, I understand. You see, when I was in
yeah,
fourth grade,
with the fucking sketch art of, like, I'd say super realistic anime, but it's not.
when I was in fourth grade on sports day, I forgot to tell my parents it was sports day, so they didn't show up, and I had nothing to eat.
Yeah.
It's like, that's actually your fault. What are you even
Yeah.
talking about? It's like,
I'm
well,
sharing a story of how I felt lonely one time. I understand your pain. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, Reagan goes on a full speech of, like, you need to understand that, okay, yeah, you have cool powers, okay, and
You want to
why
make
does that
it
matter in the real world?
You want to conquer the world. You guys haven't even seen the world. like, don't give me that BS.
And yeah, it explains the message of what this show is trying to convey probably a little bit better than you did, but then in fairness, they weren't just trying to explain all this off the cuff, and they had like actual writers
and I was trying to explain what I was trying to go in without going into spoilers for this episode.
Yeah.
Which is a bit difficult.
So the way I'm not going to try and go back and explain what he just explained, because it was actually fairly thorough, and I don't remember most of it. But what I did take away from it was, it's not necessarily about conformity and fitting in with everyone else so that everything can just go normally and you fit into society and such. But it does have a bit of a kind of cynical, just sort of mundane undertone to it. Like, especially for a show as fantastical as this one. Like, it seems to take the view of, okay, you have something that's special about you, but that doesn't really matter that much. So
it was...
Don't focus on that and focus on actually being a decent person, which is a good message.
Yeah.
But it is very cynical and treats the idea of having something special and significant about yourself and taking pride in that, it treats that kind of cavalierly. Like, that's something that shouldn't matter as much as, like, the villains in particular, obviously taken a bit far, but that's reductive
kind of like what you can do isn't as important as who you are. And these people, they are so focused on what they can do that they've developed tunnel vision, and all they see is that, and they don't know really who they are and what they're doing in that sort of context.
But yeah, this is that argument kind of taken to its absurd extremes, which is not exactly a fair portrayal about that particular ideology.
Mm-hmm.
This is like taking the counterpoint of that ideology and just amplifying it by 1,000 so it looks ridiculous. And that's not an entirely fair way to do it. But, I've seen worse methods of like trying to make a point, really, to be honest, so I can't complain that much. And it is, in general, a good point that it's trying to convey. In general.
Yeah. And this is like...
By the way, I felt absolutely, completely fucking stupid the last episode that we recorded, so I really wanted to actually have a point to make in this one. I just had nothing last time, and I was like, it's good to have message. So, yeah.
Yeah. Really, now that Reagan can use Mob's power, he can actually form an argument with these people, and he's kind of acting as an angry parent scolding them. And that's kind of the takeaway here, is because they were focused too much on what they could do and not who they were, they stopped developing as people, and they needed somebody to be like, hey, look at what you're doing. You're fighting children and trying to harm middle schoolers because you think you're special. And you want to conquer the world, but you don't even know what half the world looks like, if that.
Yeah.
If you want to make it big, you have to start by living in reality and going from there. So, yeah, Reagan fights them and, unmasks, quote-unquote, Psycho Mantis.
It's still Psycho Mantis because he actually looks like Psycho Mantis under the mask. So,
Turns out he's an old man who's like, oh, but I'm so special, and you all should be worshiping me. You're all nothing more than monkeys. And He's just like,
He's like, I'm gonna take over the world, and everyone's going to love me. And Mob's like, hey, psychic powers won't make you popular. Like
he's
from
like,
the
yeah,
very beginning of the series, like, okay, comes full circle. Well done.
that's all there is to it. It won't make you popular. And he's like, oh,
And then he freaks out and starts trying to kill everyone. And Reagan's powers run out, so he can't do shit. And he's like, hey, Mob, could you juice me up again? And Mob's like, no, I got nothing, sorry. So then Ginger Kid shows up and puts the smackdown on the old dude.
he's like,
Psycho
old
Mantis.
man, you're embarrassing yourself.
Yeah. You all already lost. This is pointless. And by the way, I was actually here to see if I could recruit anyone for headquarters, and turns out everyone in this place sucked that actually worked here. Some of the other people that didn't, we could debate. But yeah, you guys suck, so I'm leaving. Also,
Yeah.
Mob, you disappointed me. You're a coward. Bye.
And then he teleports.
Yep.
And guys, and then at that point, it's like, the evil spirits have all been narrowed down to one. Come forth, Marshmallow Chan! And Dimple when he knocks him out.
It's okay. Yeah, the fucking clone dude is like, okay, come on. There's no point in this anymore. No one cares. Yeah. Bob comes out and he's like more powerful than he was, but not necessarily up to full. Like he got some of his power back from doing that.
Yeah. So now he can actually fight things in spirit form.
Also, Reagan can see him now.
Yeah, because Reagan awakened to a psychic power. It wasn't his, but it was a psychic power.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the two dudes, Clone Dude and Sakurai, the sword guy, this isn't like they will be recurring characters in the show, or in the series rather, because second season was greenlit, but we don't have a specific date for that yet. But they are recurring characters in the manga, so like a lot of the people from Claw and stuff, they are. I think even the guy with the evil spirits, he comes back once or twice.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, if it's those guys, they might be able to stop Claw from its world domination.
And then we get I think we go to, was it the family or was
We go back to
reality?
reality.
Look, there goes gravity.
Yeah, Mob's waking up. He's brushing his teeth. It's just normal morning. Ritsu meets with the student president.
And he's like, "Hey, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to Ushi."
Oni.
It was Oni.
Onigawara.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I don't care.
Onigawara.
I don't care.
And
Names.
I'm gonna apologize because what we did back then was pretty awful. And
and Ritsu's like, "Yeah, me too." And they go and talk to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I already knew. I don't like it. It didn't actually matter." Because all that you showed me was that they were just asking for an excuse to just fucking hate me and spit on me. So I realized I was like one of the most hated people at the school. So yeah, I decided I should probably do something about that.
yeah, I realized how weak my heart was and kind of where I was. And so, by the way, your older brother came by and he told me not to beat you up because he was kind of scared for you. I'll let it slide since you're the Shadow Leader's boss. Or you're the Shadow Leader's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let it slide since you're the boss's brother. He runs off to go with the Body Improvement Club because he's joined that now.
And then Mob runs between the two of them, and it's...
Yeah. And it's like, that's your brother looks like he's about to die. He's like, well, yeah, that's my brother. He's collapsed.
passed out.
No.
Then I think we get a scene with Ginger Kid, and he's looking for his phone in the Rebel, and he finds it because it's ringing, and it's his dad, and he's like, "Hey, this place sucks, and it was a waste of time, so just get back here, I guess." And
You stupid dad.
His dad's like, "I was asking for a report," and Okay. He fucking gave you one. I don't know what your problem is. What? I don't get that line.
And
I don't.
so it's just like, well, it just turns out your organization that you thought was the best, it ain't so hot. And so, his dad's like, I'll be coming to Japan soon. In a month, actually. So, but there were a few other scenes that I want.
Then we get it was weird how it was intercut between all the other scenes. That was
no. The show scene came near the end of that, I believe, right before the skit.
No, it was in between a couple of other scenes that it was weird. I remember because it was weird to me that it was between a couple scenes. And we have a scene with the school, with Mob, and he gets accosted by the reporter girl, and nothing really comes of that. And I don't remember where it came in, but it was between a few scenes.
Yeah, he was looking at Tsubomi, because Tsubomi-chan is still kind of his goal.
But nobody cares. And,
nobody cares. But
we have the club that was shitty and kind of defunct now, and what's her name is like,
I'm still looking for telepaths.
Supposedly.
And then cut over to Reagan, who's now got Dimple, and he can now see Dimple. He's just like, Dimple's like, yeah, Mom sent me over here to tell you that he can't come to work. He's like, yeah, because you're going to be helping me. And Dimple's like,
why else
what?
would he send you here?
He has a phone.
Could have just called. Yeah.
It's like, what do you think I am? You're Mom's errand boy, right? So now they can actually banter. And it's like, you con man, you're a rude spirit.
Yeah. And we have a family scene where Mob's thinking about everything that happened and such, and he bends a spoon, and the parents are like, ugh, that's such a bad habit. Ugh.
He's a young boy, let him bend as many spoons as he wants.
And then Ritsu takes the spoon, unbends it, and she's like, what the fuck? And I'm completely confused how they're okay with Mob doing it, but it's completely blindsided by him doing it.
She's just like, what's up with these kids? Because she's never seen Ritsu do something like that before. So, yeah. And it kind of represents a more healthy relationship between the two brothers. Of like, one bends the spoon, the other will unbend it for him, and it's nice. And then we get a cut to, I think it's after that we actually get the cut to the show scene. And then, because that happens at night, and then it's night, and then we cut back to the office, where it's now slightly different. There's a Tsuchinoko that there's on TV, and so the whole thing about this skit at the end is that it is made to more perfectly capture the manga art, because the show is a much prettier version of the manga art, and I know that doesn't seem that seems like a weird statement, because it isn't a very pretty show to begin with in terms of character designs and everything, but it does clean up a lot of the art from the manga, and as kind of a tribute to the mangaka, they made one skit at the end that used his original art style.
I did not notice a difference.
There is. You can tell the proportions are a bit weirder, or they're off. The movements is more matches it. There's shading to it that is actually the same shading from the manga.
Okay.
My gosh, you're just gonna sandbag this cool segment. It's cool, okay?
All right.
But yeah,
fucking know.
They go looking for Tsuchinoko, and it turns out Reagan just wants to get some mushrooms so he can cook them and eat them. It's a fun little skit.
6 of 1. He probably wanted the thing if they could actually find it, but he saw, an actual thing that I can take now. Cool, I'll have that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that was the show, pretty much.
That was the show. What are your thoughts?
Awesome. It's a great show.
It is one of my favorite series for a lot of reasons. And Claw is like, they come in, their stuff gets resolved, and then the series continues after that. So it's not like Claw's the whole thing of the series. It's just one part of it.
Hmm.
And I just
Oh,
the
I haven't done it in a
claw.
while. I had
Yeah,
to.
I know.
I,
The manga has ended at this point in time. There's a second season that's been greenlit. Um, this and One Punch Man are similar in some ways, but also very different, in which they both have characters that are extremely powerful, but for one reason or another, that power doesn't leave them satisfied. And it kind of tackles that in different ways.
hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
What are we watching next now, Casey?
All right. So I'm pretty sure Zero already knows what we're watching next because I've told him. So that's gonna come as no surprise to Zero. But so it's gonna be another Rooster Teeth show. Uh, but it's actually gonna be one that actually ran a little longer than Ruby. But here's the thing: Red versus Blue, longest running web series that they're very proud of, by the way. They say it as often as they possibly can. Thing about it is the first 5 seasons are very, very difficult to go back and watch. Partially because they were made in like Halo 1, and that was not exactly geared towards machinima. And in future games, they actually did like take strides to make it a little bit easier for Red vs. Blue to be made, surprisingly enough. The game developers got involved in that to the point where there is a button combination in Halo 2 and 3 where you can actually lower your gun.
Yeah.
So, but like the early seasons are actually kind of hard to go back and watch because the audio's not great, the visuals aren't great, and the jokes are a little hit and miss and it gets a little bit off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But they do say there are points where the audience can just, like, new audience can just jump in and just start from there. There's a few of these, and I figure the best one that actually seems viable to me is Season 6 of Red vs. Blue. And I'm going to say we're going to do Season 6 because it's a... taken on its own, it's actually a fairly well-contained story.
Okay.
So
we're starting and ending with Season 6.
That's the plan. Technically, Season 6 is the first in a trilogy, but I'm not going to say we're going to do the whole Recollection trilogy.
I can watch the rest on my own time if I enjoy it.
Yeah. But just that one season is a fairly self-contained story, introduces to the characters pretty well, probably. This is partially an experiment to see whether that whole, hey, you can just jump in argument holds water. So...
because the only experience I have with Red versus Blue is, I believe I tried to watch episode 1 or 2 of it, and it just was impossible to watch.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not the easiest thing to even understand what they're saying with all the static on it. Like, it's supposed to be like, hey, they're talking on like helmet radios, sure, but it doesn't mean it sounds
like I couldn't understand what was going on, and the video format was bad, and yeah. So we'll try Season 6, see how that goes.
Yep. We're probably going to do them in 2 episodes at a time because they're like 4 minutes long. There's not a lot to review there. So yeah, it's probably going to be a pretty short series, like 10 episodes for us to do that.
Yeah, and then after that, I probably will make you watch something like, I don't know, Devilman, Inuyashiki, or ReZero is still always one, but
I don't want to watch Inuyasha.
Inuyashiki, thank you very much. And stop making that joke makes me sad. Inuyashiki is a good show, okay?
Yeah, okay. If you say so.
I'll roll a dice. I'll see which one comes up. Yeah.
All right.
See you guys next time with
Bye, everybody.
Red versus Blue.
Yeah.
Hope I like it.
You probably will.
I probably will. It's not gonna be a Ruby situation. So.
No. Like 6 through 10 is prime Red versus Blue territory.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Bye, everybody.
Bye.